Hey everyone, this is Tom from VermiBag. This is the VemiBag Max that I have my original African night crawlers in. It's pretty full now. I have several bins of African night crawlers now, but this is kind of the original Max, the big one that I had with them. I have been running this for a while, pretty much just throwing junk into it, but I haven't done any videos or anything on it. So I'm actually going to do a video now, or kind of a series on basically a trash bin. I'm not going to really do too much prep at all. I'm going to throw all my cardboard boxes in there, cereal boxes, stuff like this. I mean, newspapers, I'll wad them up a little bit. There's some cereal boxes, oil boxes, containers for beer, pizza container. I had some burlap and stuff that was actually in this I pulled out, and I'm going to throw it in there now too. And just to show you that you can actually just throw in just about anything from your kitchen, anything made out of cardboard, and you don't have to run it through a shredder. You can just throw it in there, basically rip the box in a couple pieces, throw it in there, and then I'll throw a little bit of my bedding on it, and from time to time throw some food in there and mix it in a little bit. But it's just general trash. I'm gonna treat this thing like a trash can and just throw stuff into it, and I'll show you how well they really do in there. Let me open it up and I'll show you what it looks like inside right now. So right now, there's a little bit of food in here, still some scraps. There were some onions that were growing in here, so I pulled them out and kind of cut them up a little bit. But for the most part, everything here is just skins. There's an avocado here that's hollow on the inside for the most part. You can see there's a lot of worms in here. The moisture content in here actually might be a tad bit dry. Since I'm not adding as much food scraps in here, I think it tends to dry out a little bit more. So I'm going to have to make sure that I add enough food scraps to keep it moist. I can't just add paper and the cardboard and stuff because it won't give it any moisture. If it does start getting dry, I may have to add a little bit of extra water in it. But let me grab the stuff I have here. I'm going to rip it up just slightly, and then we'll throw it in. So the first thing I'm going to add in here is the burlap and some paper and stuff that was originally on the top of this thing. I pulled it out for right now, just so you could see what the contents look like. So I'm just going to dump it back in there. And you can tell this burlap is really, disintegrating. Worms actually like it a lot. I mean, but it takes a while. But by the time it reaches the bottom, I'm just going to leave it in here and bury it. By the time it gets to the bottom, it'll be gone. It'll make great compost. Then on top of this, I'm just going to go ahead and add some, I took some Oreo things, newspapers. I'm just barely ripping these things up. A pizza container, ripped it up just a little bit. This is actually fairly waxy advertisement, paper advertisement, but I'm going to throw it in there too. And just a little bit more paper. Now on top of that, I'm going to go ahead and add some frozen food. This is like a big chunk of a pineapple. I'm not going to process this food, chop it all up or anything either. There's probably about 3 pounds, a whole banana. That should give plenty of moisture for the system too. Now I'm going to top this whole thing off with a little bit of my bedding. Just kind of cover it. Now my bedding, this bedding, it's always the same, but I have a lot of coffee grounds in this. The weather's been getting a little bit cooler, so people are tending to drink more coffee at work. So I'm ending up with a lot more coffee. So works great mixing the coffee right here to upgrade the filter right into the bedding. Every time I get some extra bedding, I just open up, or some extra coffee, I open up one of my containers that has bedding in it, and I mix the coffee grounds into it. So sometimes my bedding has a lot of coffee, sometimes it has just a little. I'm going to do one more just enough to cover it. for the most part. And that's it. So there's a lot of trash in there, nothing really prepared. There's not much effort to prepare anything. I didn't even prepare the food. I basically just froze it and threw it in there. So we'll take a look at this next week and we'll see what it looks like. This is Tom from VermiBag. Ciao.